Welcome to the deep dive. When we think about aggression in animals, especially ones we see all the time, like cattle, we often jump to pretty straightforward conclusions.
Right. It's just a mean animal, or maybe it's protective. Simple labels.
Exactly. But what if that sudden aggression, the kind that seems out of the blue, what if it's actually a critical signal, maybe even a symptom of something much deeper going on?
That's often the case. It's not just a Kirk.
So our mission for this deep dive is to get past those surface ideas. We've got a whole stack of your sources, research papers, articles, notes, and we're going to unpack the surprising reasons behind cattle aggression.
We want you to get a quick but really thorough grasp of the causes, how experts figure it out, and importantly, how to manage it.
And the core idea we'll keep hitting on is this, that aggression is often a clinical sign, a red flag, really, pointing to all sorts of underlying issues, maybe neurological problems, maybe pain.
And that changes the whole perspective, doesn't it?
It really does. Okay, let's unpack this. We're quick to label, but the sources paint a much more complex picture. What are some of those hidden factors, the medical or physiological things that can actually cause aggression?
Well, it's rarely simple.
Mm.
And you hit the main point. Aggression is frequently just a symptom. That's why a full veterinary workup is so crucial.
Before you even think about behavior training.
Absolutely. Because often it is medical. You need to rule that out first.
So things that literally change how their brain or body works.
Precisely. Let's talk neurological disorders first. Rabies, for example. It's viral, attacks the central nervous system, the brain, the spinal cord.
And that causes
Sudden, really profound behavior shifts, including aggression that's totally out of character.
Mm.
Then there's listeriosis bacterial, sometimes called circling disease,
they're calling.
because it causes brain inflammation, affects balance, mental state. Again, aggression can be a sign. Even things like lead poisoning.
Lead. How would
Yeah.
they get that?
Old paint, contaminated environments, maybe. It causes brain damage, encephalopathy, which just means the brain isn't functioning right. Aggression can result.
And BSE, of course, mad cow disease.
Exactly. Known for causing severe nervousness, sometimes really violent behavior. These aren't just mood swings, they're fundamental brain changes.
Wow. It literally sounds like their brain is being hijacked. What about body chemistry, like metabolic issues?
Yeah.
Can a simple deficiency make them aggressive?
Absolutely. Take hypomagnesemia, grass tetany, you might have heard of it,
Low magnesium, right?
critically low. Magnesium is vital for nerves, muscles.
Yeah.
Without enough, they get hyperexcitable, jumpy, nervous,
And that can tip into aggression.
easily. It's neuromuscular overstimulation. Another one is ketosis, especially in dairy cows that are producing a lot of milk. It's an energy deficit.
And that makes them aggressive.
Sometimes, yes. They call it nervous ketosis. You might see aggression, weird licking behaviors. It's their metabolism being completely out of whack.
Okay, and pain. It makes sense. Intuitively, pain makes us cranky. How does that play out in cattle?
Well, severe pain, say from lameness, bad feet or legs, or mastitis, that's an udder infection, or metritis, a uterine infection, it makes them incredibly irritable.
Defensive.
Exactly. They react aggressively if you approach or touch them, not because they're mean, but because they hurt, or they expect to hurt. It's pure self-protection.
It's a form of communication then, telling us something's wrong.
Absolutely.
What about hormones? Those invisible chemical signals, how do they stir things up?
Oh, hormones are huge. For instance, cystic ovarian disease, cows can develop cysts that produce estrogen.
Okay.
This can lead to nymphomania, excessive sexual excitement, and weirdly, in cows, that often shows up as aggression, even bull-like behavior, especially in high-producing dairy cows.
So that's a disease state. What about normal hormones?
Big factor, too. Maternal aggression is classic. A cow protecting her new calf, she can be incredibly dangerous.
More than a bull, sometimes.
Sometimes, yes. Definitely don't underestimate her. And bulls, naturally, get aggressive during estrus, protecting females they want to breed. And then there's stress hormones.
Cortisol.
Right. High cortisol isn't just bad for their immune system. It causes a whole cascade of negative effects, including making them more irritable, more prone to aggression. It's a sign of systemic imbalance.
So it's not just internal stuff. The sources really highlight how their environment, their interactions with us, shape aggression too. This is where it gets, well, really practical for day-to-day handling.
Precisely. Fear and stress-induced aggression, incredibly common.
Right.
Rough handling, new situations. They develop fear responses.
And that fear becomes aggression.
It can escalate quickly when they feel threatened. You'll see the science tail swishing like crazy, showing the whites of their eyes, head held high, ears alert.
Maybe pooping more, skin quivering.
Yes, exactly. Faster breathing, too. And Here's the really critical part.
Yeah.
They have amazing long-term memory for fear.
One bad experience can stick.
Absolutely. It creates this lasting fear, which just feeds into more stress and more aggression down the line. That's why early, positive, low-stress handling is just fundamental.
That memory aspect, that's powerful. So thinking about that, how does their early life, their upbringing, affect things like bottle-fed calves?
Yeah, inadequate socialization is definitely a factor. Hand-reared bulls, for example, they miss out on learning the rules from the herd.
Social cues.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So they can end up more aggressive towards other cattle and sometimes towards people too, because they just haven't learned those boundaries.
And the herd itself, they're such social animals. Breaking that up must cause issues.
Oh, absolutely. They have a powerful herd instinct. Isolate one. Huge anxiety. They might get dangerous trying to get back.
And introducing new animals.
Always causes some aggression, some fighting, until the pecking order settles down again. So managing group dynamics is just as important as individual behavior. A lot of aggression comes from disrupting their social world.
So the actual place they live can trigger aggression, like their housing or stocking density.
That's a great way to think about it. Like their conditions are making them act out. High stocking densities definitely increases aggression. They're cramped, competing for food.
Especially certain feeds.
Yes, high-energy diets, like barley sometimes, seem to make them a bit more volatile. Lack of comfort, too. Not enough space to lie down, too hot. It all adds to irritability.
It really suggests a lot of aggression isn't inherent meanness, but a response to how they're kept.
Exactly. It's often triggered by suboptimal husbandry.
Which brings us back to handling. We've all seen bad handling. How does that specifically fuel aggression and make things dangerous?
Well, inconsistent handling, rough handling, shouting, using electric prods excessively.
Yeah.
It creates those lasting fear memories we talked about.
So they learn to expect bad things.
Pretty much. Loud noises, sudden movements, they get agitated, stressed. And a stressed, fearful animal is a dangerous animal. Overcrowding them, rushing them. It just makes it all worse. Fear turns into defensive aggression.
And then there's the factor we can't change in an individual, but maybe influence long-term: genetics.
Yes, genetics are definitely part of the puzzle, and it offers a long-term strategy. Temperament is heritable.
You can breed for calmness.
You can. Selecting breeding animals based partly on good temperament can significantly reduce aggression over generations. It's proactive. Plus, there are breed differences. Dairy bulls, for instance, are generally seen as more aggressive than many beef breeds.
So genetics is one tool in the toolbox.
A very important one for the future of a herd, yes.
Okay, so with all these potential causes, diseases, pain, fear, environment, genetics, wow. How do experts actually figure out why a specific animal is aggressive? It sounds like detective work.
It really is. Diagnosis isn't just one thing. It's multifaceted. You're combining sharp observation with objective data. And crucially, like we said, rule out the medical stuff first, always.
Observation first. What are they looking for? What are those subtle signs we might miss?
Reading body language. Those signs of fear or stress we mentioned, the tail swishing, the wide eyes, head up, ears locked onto something.
Increased pooping, skin quivering, fast breathing.
Right. Those are the early warnings. Then you have the more direct signs of aggression. Moving erratically, flicking the tail sharply, pawing the ground.
Turning sideways.
Yes, presenting their broadside to look bigger. Gears pinned flat back, snorting. Bulls might do that broadside thing with an arched back, head low, maybe shaking their head rapidly, eyes bulging a bit, hair raised along their back.
And a direct charge.
Usually head on, head lowered. It's vital for handlers to learn to read these signals for their own safety and to intervene early.
That's incredibly specific, but it's still observation. How do you make it, well, less subjective? How do you measure nervousness?
Good question. That's where standardized temperament scoring comes in. Gives you objective numbers, usually like a 1 to 5 scale.
What kind of scores?
There's the chute score, how they act when restrained in a squeeze chute. Or exit velocity, how fast they leave the chute. That one's pretty objective. Maybe less so for really old, calm animals, but generally good.
And in a pen?
Yeah, the pen score, how they react to a person entering a small pen with them. Using a combination of these gives a better picture. And interestingly, these scores often correlate with stress hormones like cortisol.
Ah, so you get biological backup.
Exactly. It links the observed behavior to what's happening physiologically.
Speaking of physiology, what other hard evidence can you get beyond watching them or scoring them?
Cortisol levels are key. You find higher levels in temperamental cattle. You can measure it in blood, saliva, even urine. Heart rate monitoring is another objective way to gauge stress.
So these give you concrete proof to back up the observations.
Yes, especially if the signals are a bit mixed or unclear, it helps confirm that underlying stress state.
And then the step you keep emphasizing,
Yeah,
the vet workup, that's where you nail down or rule out those medical causes.
absolutely. Critical first step if you suspect a medical issue. It starts with a really thorough history from the owner. When did it start? Any changes? Then a full physical exam and a specific neurological exam.
Lab tests.
Definitely. Blood tests for magnesium, calcium, ketones, lead levels, all those things we discussed. Maybe analyzing cerebrospinal fluid, the fluid around the brain, if you suspect a neurological disease like listeriosis.
And rabies.
Rabies testing, unfortunately, requires brain tissue after death. But the key principle is investigate thoroughly. Rule out the physical causes before you jump to behavioral solutions. Aggression is so often a symptom.
Right. So let's say you've done the detective work. You have a good idea why the animal is aggressive. What do the sources say about actually managing it, preventing it? Seems like a layered approach is needed.
Exactly. There's no magic bullet.
Yeah.
Effective management needs a holistic view. It's integrated. You need a combination of strategies working together.
Okay, let's start with behavior modification. Can you actually train them to be calmer, reteach their reactions?
You absolutely can, to a degree. The foundation is low stress handling. That means frequent, gentle, calm interactions. Handlers need to understand flight zones, points of balance, how to move cattle quietly without yelling or prodding.
Using their natural instincts.
Precisely. Avoid loud noises, sudden moves. Use flags or sticks gently, not electric prods, ideally. Then there's habituation, getting them used to things slowly. And a positive reinforcement.
Like treats.
Can be. Pairing new things, maybe scary things like going through a chute, with something positive like feed. Getting young beef cattle used to handling early makes a huge difference to their temperament for life. It shows aggression isn't always fixed. It can be learned and unlearned.
That's really hopeful. What about their living space? How can we adjust the environment to help?
Big impact there. Making sure they have enough space to eat without fighting over it, managing stocking density, being aware, like we said, that some high-energy feeds might need careful management.
Comfort matters too.
Hugely. Enough clean, dry space to rest, enough time to lie down and ruminate. Heat stress is a big factor too, so things like shade or sprinklers can help reduce irritability in hot weather.
And minimizing stress generally.
Right. Avoid isolating animals if possible. Plan introductions of new animals carefully. Keep housing clean, well-ventilated. Fixing the environment can often fix the behavior instead of just blaming the animal.
And if there is a medical cause you've identified, what interventions help then?
Well, you treat the root cause. Pain management is essential. Proper pain relief for procedures like dehorning, castration, treating lameness quickly.
Hormonal issues.
Castration for bulls is the main one for aggression. For those cows with nymphomania from cysts, hormone treatments like LH can sometimes help.
Specific diseases.
Immediate treatment. Magnesium for grass tetany. Glucose for nervous ketosis. Rabies, sadly, no treatment isolation, and humane euthanasia for testing is the protocol.
Can you sedate them for handling?
Yes, vets can use tranquilizers drugs like promazine, xylazine. They're useful for safe handling during exams or procedures, but it's crucial to remember it's just temporary restraint. It doesn't fix the underlying reason for the aggression.
Makes sense. Looking longer term, for the whole herd, what about preventing aggression in the first place?
Two main strategies: genetic selection and culling. We talked about genetics. Choosing calmer breeding stock is a powerful, proactive way to shape the herd's future temperament.
And culling?
Removing animals that are consistently and dangerously aggressive, especially bulls, is sometimes necessary for the safety of everyone, handlers and other animals included.
Which brings us to the absolute bottom line, handler safety. We've touched on how dangerous things can get.
Paramount. Absolutely paramount. Rule number one, never fully trust any bull, even seemingly quiet ones, and maintain constant awareness of your surroundings.
Specifics for bulls.
Never handle them alone or just on foot. Use tractors, ATVs, other people, good working dogs, even other cattle to help move them. Always have an escape route plan before you even go in.
What if you do get cornered?
Try to move slowly away from the edge of their flight zone. Don't run directly away. That can trigger a chase. Sometimes stepping sharply sideways can confuse a charging bull momentarily, giving you a chance. And absolutely no children working with bulls, ever.
And cows with new calves. You said they can be even riskier.
They can be. Fiercely protective. Basic rule: don't get between the cow and her calf without a solid barrier, a gate, a vehicle, If you have to handle a calf, try to keep it between you and the mother. Use barriers. Remember how dangerous they can be.
And general yard safety.
Keep yards tidy, no trip hazards. Wear proper boots, steel-toed ideally. When cattle first come into yards, give them time, maybe 30 minutes, to settle down before you start working them. Never get in a narrow race or shoot with large cattle. Don't stick arms or legs through the rails. Always know your escape routes. These aren't suggestions. They're essential for avoiding serious injury.
So wrapping up this deep dive, it's just crystal clear that cattle aggression isn't simple. Not just a bad attitude, it's complex, often a clinical sign, needing that whole picture approach.
Exactly. You need the behavioral understanding, the environmental fixes, the medical checks, maybe genetic strategies. They all have to work together.
And understanding all this, these multiple causes and solutions, it's not just better for the animal's welfare or herd productivity, though it is.
Crucially, it's about human safety. Recognizing what the animal is telling you through its behavior and responding smartly, compassionately. That's key.
So as you think about everything we've unpacked, here's something to consider. Knowing cattle have this incredible long-term memory for fear, what does that suggest about how we should approach welfare and interaction with all animals, not just cattle? How might our very first interactions shape their behavior for life in ways we maybe don't always think about? And what really stands out to you about that deep, undeniable link between an animal's physical health and how it expresses itself through behavior?